Hello, hello, and welcome. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and welcome you to today's video podcast. I am an author, speaker, seminar leader, Mimi, and a whole bunch of other things. And today I am giving you part two of why you should quit or why you shouldn't quit. I will put up in one of the corners near the end or even in the middle from the last video I gave you when I talked about when quitting is an option. Today is we're going to talk about staying the course. Now, as I mentioned in the last video that I talked about this is a podcast from May of 2016. It's still relevant. The information is still there. The difference right now is that the audio is not super clear because at the time I was doing a call in to another podcasting platform. So please excuse that. The thing that I realized as I went back and looked at some of those old podcasts is that I have grown a lot. I have gained a lot of insight, but the information that I'm going to share with you today has not changed. So stay with me as I do this conversation of when you should stay the course. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for being here. If you're new, please subscribe, hit the bell so that you'll be notified of when I have other videos coming up. And please be aware, this is Eclectic Alchemy. So I do podcasts and videos on a number of different subjects, and they are all given their own playlists. So let's go back to May of 2016 and talk about when you should stay the course.
So, good morning. This is a really interesting morning, I tell you. The day has started out really great, and here in Texas, we had a fantastic, wonderful air clearing because the allergies kind of been popping up. Rainstorm, thunderstorm. And I know many people, they look at thunderstorms and it makes them a little nervous, and because things that could happen. I mean, this is an area that can have tornadoes, uh, really great, I'll call them great, but really strong lightning strikes. So, but I look at it this way, is that the rain is designed to help clear our air. It helps make the flowers grow. It makes my garden grow because rainwater is always better for your garden. It has an extra molecule of oxygen, kind of like, it's like a hydrogen peroxide type thing, but it gives your plants a boost. So if you've ever looked at plants right after a good rain, they seem to just perk up and get super green. That's that extra piece of hydrogen. In fact, if you do a Google search about using hydrogen peroxide in your garden, it will tell you about how it helps your plants grow, as well as a cheap way of getting nitrogen for all my gardeners out there. Look up using ammonia in your garden. That's just a little idea that came to me today. Anyhow, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being, I'll say, loyal listeners, and find this show really good for you and you learn a lot. I want you to please share this with others. Please go and, let people know that it's there, that they can find me on iTunes, You can download the podcast. There's over 3 years, probably four or more years of shows. And I took and listened to some of the earlier shows and have learned that I have grown over the years, and the information that I have has expanded because I do what I tell you about. When I talk to you about things, I put them into practice. And there are times when, yes, I don't do them quite so often, and yes, things kind of change. But I'll tell you, experience is great because experience, for me, is a great teacher. Also, by reading about other people and what they go through and what they do, that is another experience that is fantastic, that helps me stay away from it. All right. So, today's topic, when should you stay the course and not quit? Now, last week it was, when is it okay to quit? That's what I talked about. When is it okay to quit? And I talked about the fact that our, time when we just keep striving and going after something. But the thing that I realize is that sometimes we go after it because everybody else thinks we should. Sometimes we go after it because it's what we're supposed to do. Sometimes we stay when we should go because in our mind, that's what we're supposed to do. My mother, my dad, my cousin, my uncle, my boss, my whatever said I got to keep going, right? When all along you should quit. So that was last week. So if you haven't listened to last week's recording, then I recommend you do so. The title of it, When is Quitting Ever an Option? So this week is, when should you stay the course and not quit? Yes. When should you do something? When should you? So I have what is known as a monthly movie. And I invite a lot of my Facebook friends over for the monthly movie. And this year we've done The Matrix 1, 2, and 3. Except for the monthly movie for Matrix 3, I only invited those who came and saw 1 and 2, because if you didn't see 1 and 2, then 3 wouldn't make any sense to you. And one of the people that attend the movie gave me a suggestion for a movie. And I had never seen it, never heard of it, never, it's like, okay. And I don't like to do things unless I've seen it. I can give my personal recommendation. So I'm going to have to tell y'all, the Inner Circle came yesterday to watch the movie. And when I say the Inner Circle, it's the people who come all the time to the monthly movie. And so I did a personal invitation to watch the monthly movie. And let me tell you, I'm going to, because this person, his name is Calvin, brought the movie. It was his. He brought the CD. And after I watched it, I said, okay, I've got to get the book. And I'm going to find the movie, right? And then I'm going to have a movie night with it. And it was perfect for today's topic, because The Peaceful Warrior is about a gifted athlete whose desire for success drives everything he does. And in this movie is Nick Nolte. Now, Nick Nolte playing, and I'll call it the guru, the guardian angel, actually, because he shows up and then he disappears, right? I'll tell you that much. But in it, it was like this young man, Dan Millman, had every reason to give up, to quit, to stop. He was a gymnast, or is a gymnast. I think he's still around, right? He's a gymnast, and he has a terrible accident. And when his coach told him, "You're done. Your doctor said you're done. You're done. You can't do this anymore." And then you watch him in this movie. You know, the movie wouldn't have been made if he didn't do something impossible, right? And he did this impossible thing. And in case you want to watch it, I'm not going to tell you everything about how it happened. But here's some things that came out of that movie and really is the driving force for when I say that you should stay the course. You should not quit. You should get going. And part of what was in the movie actually fueled the meditation this morning also. And you say fueled it? Yes, it fueled the meditation because Nick Nolte was talking to Dan. And Nick's character, he had no name, right? And one of the things he talked about was to stay in this moment. Stay in this moment. And one of the statements in there, we took notes, by the way. You can live your whole life and still be asleep. You hear that? You can live your whole life and be asleep. You can go through life just wandering through it, never paying attention to the things around you. And so I'm going to give you a challenge for this week and the rest of your life, really. Is when you sit down to the television, music, and if you're eating by yourself, this is like eating lunch at your desk or whatever. I want you to stop. I don't want you to be driving while you're, your hamburger or your sandwich in your mouth. I don't want you to do anything but eat. If you're at the table with friends, change your whole conversation while you're eating and talk about the food that you're eating. You say, huh? I want you to talk about the texture, the taste. Is there salt? Is there pepper? Is there turmeric or onion or basil or olive oil or whatever? How does it feel in your mouth? How does it taste? Is it soft? Is it hard? Does it take a lot of chewing? I want you to stop and pay attention. I want you to do it at every meal this week. Strange, but it's an exercise in paying attention. If you live alone and you eat your meal in front of the television set, I want you to go in the kitchen or if you have a dining room, I want you to go in there. I want you to set the table. If you've got napkins, I want you to use napkins. You've got cloth napkins, pull them out. You've got placemats, put them on the table. Now you can create, do your plates in the kitchen, at the stove, at the counter, but then bring it back. I want you to have yourself a glass, and it's your best dishes. And I want you to take that glass and put your water in it, or your wine, or your Kool-Aid. Nah, no Kool-Aid. Tea, right? Water, wine, or tea. Stuff that's good for you. No soda pop. And I want you to sit there and treat yourself great. You say, what's this got to do with quitting? Well, it's dealing with concentration. And as you said, I want you to pay attention to your meal. And as you go about your week and your life, I want you to pay attention. When you are looking and doing the thing that you believe you love, and it is a burning passion, that's what I talked about last week, a burning passion that you have to do that. It's like me and this radio show. Now, I don't have to do this, right? I don't have to keep doing this show, but I love it. There's some days I don't want to do it. Some days I don't want to get up because I do this live. And there's many reasons why I do it. This is not pre-recorded. And no, I don't do it when I have to travel to California or I have to make some trips. And I'm traveling back on Monday. Most times I don't do the show. Desire to share the information that I've learned, just like this peaceful warrior. He didn't quit. And Nick Nolte, this Socrates, this guardian angel, didn't tell him to quit because of what happened to him. He just said, what is it that you want? But here's some things that we learned in this, right? Okay. One, it's not about the destination. What is the destination for this radio show for me? There is no destination. It's joy and happiness and sharing. And it's about the ride. It's about the trip. It's about the journey. And when you are looking at something in your life, it's about the journey. Enjoy the journey. We are so bent on getting there, we don't understand the ride. It's like when I was pregnant with my kids. Near the end, I couldn't wait till it was over because I was big and I was sweating in the summertime and I was just like, But let me tell you, it was the journey. It was the first kick. It was the okay, move your elbow, or what is that, your foot? My son used to, his foot or elbow used to, right? But see, I feel that, and I enjoy the journey. And then their birth. And then, so many times it was like, okay, hurry up and learn to dress yourself, or, but it's about the journey. When you're in a relationship, it's about the journey. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad and sometimes you're mad at each other and sometimes you're happy and sometimes, but in the overall big picture, what do you feel in that relationship? And you make the decision, is it worth the journey in the relationship? Sometimes we're just so all in it, and we're, we got goals, and we're going to, build a house, and we're going to create this, and we're going to do this, and we're so bent on it, we forget to enjoy now. So if the journey, if keeping your eyes on that prize and that goal, if the journey is worth it, then stay. I learned out of this movie is wisdom is doing it. And so if you love what you do, examine, is it worth it? Are you willing and so bent and sacrificial in this thing that you love so well? Then do it. But if you are not happy, if you are miserable, if you have not defined what happy is for you, then that's the first thing you need to do. What is making you happy? People don't, things don't. Define what makes you happy. Define what you have a burning desire for. And whether you're willing to do the work to get truly things you want.
Extra, extra, read all about it. This is an addition after I had recorded this, and it is the fact that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, won her case against the Daily Mail. Now, Daily Mail decided to put its apology in the smallest section of the newspaper on Boxing Day, which is a slow news day. But the other reason why I wanted to put this in here is that I think it's been 3 years, almost 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, that she has been pursuing this. This is an example of staying the course. This is an example of when you shouldn't quit. This is an example of knowing your worth and knowing your value and knowing what you desire and sticking to it until the end. Now, back to the other piece of the recording. Well, I hope you enjoyed that throwback to May of 2016. And obviously, I was really emphasizing the fact about enjoying the journey. But you must decide if you love something or someone, or you have a project or something you want to accomplish, and it is a burning desire, that you stay the course. You stay the course until the universe, infinite wisdom, tells you, no, we're going to change courses right now, and we're going to get you somewhere else. This wasn't exactly what you had planned, but trust me, where I'm leading you now is where you need to be. This is Beverly Fells Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell. Please hit like, share, all those wonderful good things. And as you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so. And I will see you in the next video.